Uh, yes. So, Mel, this is exciting. For those people who are listening far and near, today's session is with Mel, the lovely Mel Craven, and my name is Kay Hamilton, and I offer uplifting conversations because I want you to step into your courage and make the changes that you need to make in your life so that you can feel fulfilled, balanced, relaxed, energized, and rejuvenated. And we all know that that doesn't always just fall into our lap. Would you agree with that, Mel?
Yes, totally. It's a
Totally.
constant moment by moment practice to remain in the present moment and to allow things to flow. That's for sure.
Exactly. It's something that
Mm.
we have to make an effort on. Now, we are streaming live to my YouTube channel, Kay Hamilton. We are streaming live to radio. We are streaming to podcasts, or actually, sorry, we're not streaming live to radio. We are, the radio will be recorded. So if you are listening to this show, we are um, very pleased to have you with us. If you're watching this show, you can make some comments in the chat. If you would like to, let us know you're here and you're watching, and we would love you to share our uplifting conversation with anyone who you think may benefit from this conversation. Anyone, it might be yourself or it might be somebody else in your world who you feel would benefit from being uplifted. Now, today we will be talking about Mel's journey of transformation, and also we'll be hearing from Mel some of her amazing expertise. Now, I've known Mel for, I'm not quite sure, a year or two, and I have
Yeah,
done some workshops,
3 years.
yeah, with Mel that she has facilitated, and I've also been in workshops that other people have facilitated with us. And I love Mel's energy, and I love some of the work that you do, Mel. So would you like to, I'm just going to hand the reins over to you, and you can share with some people uh, a story of your journey. And I know you've pivoted, and please share
Mm.
it with us, where you've come from and where you are now, or whatever parts of your journey you would like to share with us.
Sure. Where to start? Well, I'll start where I am now.
Yes.
So I am currently in Tassie in a house sitting situation with my family of 5, my husband and my 3 sons. So it's been quite an epic year for us with a change of our living situation and embracing new things. So I teach Yin Yoga here at La Trobe at Tribe Connections, and that is a beautiful space where people can come along. And Yin Yoga has been one of the central offerings that I give wherever I am, that just allows people to come and relax, connect with their bodies, open their heart spaces, tune into their authentic selves, and just find rest and relaxation. So that's one of my loves, and what I'm probably most well known for here in Tassie is the Yin Yoga, although you've been to my Laughter Yoga, Kay, which is the other end. It's a very
Mhm.
more upbeat, energetic, raising those feel-good hormones and connecting people. So I love that as well. And the other part of my life is I'm a social worker and counsellor. So I'm about to embark on another epic journey up the middle of Australia to work in East Arnhem Land. Very excited about that. Yeah. So I spent 12 years in the Middle East before coming to Tassie, and was able to experience so many different modes of learning and energy healing and cultivating my own, you do the inner work first before you can give. It was like I compare it to the wilderness time, my desert time, and learnt to be a baby massage teacher, a childbirth and doula, childbirth educator and postpartum doula, as well as a yoga teacher. So I've got a few things happening and going on, but basically it's all about teaching people how to love themselves more, how to share that love with their families and their children, and how to find what their passion is and then share that with the world. So it's all interconnected. Mm.
That's beautiful, and you make it sound so simple, which is rather nice because I think we can, get uh, filled up with the complication of, what the world has for us and, our big dreams. And, there's a lot of talk these days about, being on a six-figure income and living this lifestyle and that lifestyle. And sometimes I think we can get caught up in looking at the big dreams and we forget to stop. And I like to talk about smelling the
Mm,
roses. Um,
totally.
I was actually
Mm,
reading somebody's testimonial this morning, and of a lady who was saying, she'd raised six children, and her mode of operating was go. You've got to get up, and you've got to go, and non-stop. And something tragic happened to her, which made her
mm,
realise she had to stop, rest, and recover.
mm.
And I know that's a
Yes.
lot of what you're about, Mel.
Yes. Well, if I go back to my first child, he's about to turn 18. I ended up in a mother baby unit, totally burnt out. I was working at after hours child protection, doing shift work, expressing breast milk at police stations in the bathrooms.
Oh my
then
God.
coming, yeah, then coming home to a baby that would only sleep 40 minutes at a time. And so I reached rock bottom. I was actually envisaging just opening the car door while I was driving and falling out. Like, I would
Literally.
say literally, I was very depressed and burnt out. So that was a big turning point for me, which really led me into the whole working with parents after realizing that you can't just go, go, go. You have nothing left to give your children. And you need to really give to yourself first so that you're healthy enough. And that often means slowing everything right down and just, basic things like breathing, smelling the roses, eating properly, looking after your own mental well-being as well as your health. And that doesn't have to be crazy fad diets. It can just be making sure you're getting enough food, that it's nutritious, you're getting enough sleep, and that you're getting enough connection. So the other part of that for me was, where is me in this motherhood? What happened to me? Reclaiming my passions and my need for community and support. We're not meant to do it alone. We're tribal.
Yes. I agree. That old saying of it takes a village to raise a child is, makes a lot of sense. And I often
Mm,
reflect on how we're all living these days in even just in a home with our own family unit. And, we don't necessarily have the mother nearby or the aunt or even community. We all live in our own little houses on our own little blocks. However,
mm,
I feel that it is coming to a time where people are realizing that we do
mm,
need community. And I feel that there's a lot of growth there. And it is time for us all to have a bit of a look at where we've come from, where we
mm.
are now, and where we're going to, and where we're headed. Like, what is it that
Yes.
we want for our families?
It's time for a revolution of the heart,
Yes,
a
oh, I like that.
revolution of how we live life. Yes. And I think, the last 2 years, the whole pandemic and how that's changed how we are, a lot of us have realized that we can't keep living in isolation. It really highlighted how unhealthy that was. And the flip side of that was a lot of us connected more with our children. We suddenly were, sharing a lot more space with them. And we realized that things such as material possessions that many of us lost, we could do without them. Well, that's one of the lessons I learned.
Well,
I
you,
did lose a lot,
yes,
but
you,
I gained so much more.
yes.
Mm,
Now, you have been quite amazing because I know both you and your husband lost your jobs through some choices you've made, because you
Mm-hmm.
definitely follow your heart and your head and your soul and your gut, and you align with what is right for you. And all kudos to you, because I think you're very brave, and I
Mm.
think we need more people to be able to do that. And for you, you were in a situation where you had 3 children who you are still supporting and were supporting, and it's been a huge change for you. For me,
Mm.
you're a real example of stepping into your courage and walking your talk and following, that little light inside that has guided your way. Would you agree with that?
Yes, yes. If you'd said I would have made these choices a few years ago and like decided to give up my job, give up our house, sell all our possessions, and just, hit the road because of my values, I don't know if I would have believed you. But it's been such an affirming, empowering journey. And I'm so glad that I did stand strong and that my partner and I formed a very strong um, connection about the decision we wanted to make. And it's been liberating because it's taught us that, um, money is nice, but it's not the be all and end all. And when you follow your true inner calling, the universe, it sounds cliche, but the universe provides. It's like when you walk your walk and talk your talk, things just line up. It's
Yes.
like you get that confirmation and it becomes a lot more focusing on what you really want to do, what you really believe in. All the fluff and the noise of of life in this
Yes.
current crazy world kind of falls away and you're just left with the nuts and bolts, and it becomes quieter in a really beautiful way. I can
It gives it.
hear what my heart wants rather
Mm,
than what I think it needs.
exactly.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
was listening to someone the other day, and she was talking about even the flurry of the getting ready for Christmas and buying things that really you don't actually need. And uh,
Mm.
we all do that to
Yes,
varying
yes.
levels. But she was also talking about getting caught on that train of buying things that are actually not going to be good for your health and well-being. And I thought it was
Mm.
so good to hear someone talk about, they're putting their intention out for what scene she was going to set with her family at Christmas time. And most of us don't think of that. We just think, oh, well, it's Christmas. Let's do this or let's do that. And, they just get caught up in that flurry of making bad decisions. Last Christmas, a
Mm.
couple of Christmases ago, I think it was in the middle of our crazy times where we're all designated to our homes and things, and we couldn't necessarily see family. It
Yeah.
really gave me just another nudge along this journey of aligning with what's really of value in life. And we
Mm.
forget that, like we just go and buy the nice shiny new thing, or
Oh,
uh,
totally.
all of
Mm.
those kinds of things. And I think it's
Mm.
time for many of us to stop and really evaluate, are we doing ourselves and our family justice? And what is it all
Mm.
for? My granddaughter came home yesterday from school, and actually I was on the phone. It might have even been to you, Mel. I'm not quite sure who it was, but I was chatting, and she came and she just sat on my knee and just cuddled me. Now, I didn't even have to speak. I just
Mm.
that cuddle, that touch, that nurture was so
Yeah.
beautiful. And then I said, look, I
Mm.
just need to go and have a shower, and will you be okay? And oh, that's right. She was lying on the bed in the sun, and I thought, there was that beautiful moment where she was just really in her own little world of meditation and her own space, and just enjoying the sun streaming in. And when those moments happen, I just think it doesn't actually get any better than this. We're led
No.
to believe that the bells and whistles is what makes us happy. And then
Mm.
after the shower, I came out and I thought, oh, where is she? And she'd taken herself out to the sand pit that I have for them in the front yard. And I could just see from a distance that she was just there in her own little world, in amongst us, nestled under the trees and out in amongst nature. Now, she was really in heaven, absolutely in heaven.
Mm.
Now, we've got
Yeah.
comments here from my beautiful friend Fiona. I'm so glad I'm here. Lovely to hear what you're doing nearby, Mel. Thank you for sharing. I'm about to start yin yoga again. Hopefully I can keep up the practice. I'm trying to be brave and set up to go full gypsy in a caravan. Wow, Fiona,
Mm.
that sounds exciting. Well,
Very exciting.
you're going to like our news that we are going to be sharing with you today because, well, Mel's already doing. Let's talk about your online presence. That's a good segue into that. What do you offer,
Mm.
and why did you move into the world of online?
Mm. I moved into offering my yin yoga classes online during the great 2 years where we were all locked up. However, I've kept it going because I noticed that there are so many people that find it difficult to find the time to get out of their home or out of their pajamas, into their cars to a yoga center. So I offer very comfortable, casual, relaxed yin yoga I Zoom it live from whatever lounge room I happen to be in or garden because I'm moving around Australia. I move every 4 weeks at the moment, sometimes more. So you can join me once a week for this Zoom yin yoga, or I offer a subscription where you can just download the recordings and do them whenever you like, and a little introduction to yin yoga course where you can delve a bit more deeper into the theory and anatomy and physiology, put lovely playlists where you can do your own home practice. So that is what I'm currently offering, the yin yoga online with Mel Craven Yoga.
I can highly recommend it, and I've joined Mel's yoga practices weekly. So what anyone can join that because it's online. This is available to anybody all around the world, isn't it? That's what I love too,
Yes,
because
yeah.
it's about that connection with the global community. So people can find you at it's www.melcraven.com. I'll
melcraven.com. Yeah.
just pop that in. Now, what price do you charge for that, Mel?
Are you ready for it?
Yeah, I'm very ready.
It's 20 Australian dollars a month, and you can do the one class a week, or you can, like, there's a whole library with about 20 classes. You can do as many classes as you like. Yeah, but the live ones once a week for $20 a month.
Oh, I can't believe that you have made it so affordable. I think that's kind of crazy, but it's
Well,
fantastic.
I want to make it accessible. So
Yes.
I know a lot of people, like, if they're like me, I know a lot of
Yes.
people have had to change their lifestyles and become gypsies
Yes.
and aren't living on flash incomes. So I think it's part of my heart wants to make this available for everybody. So it's, not out of reach.
Absolutely. To me, it must be then your sense of service to mankind. And I think it's
Mm.
absolutely amazing. So if anyone
Mm.
is listening and you like the idea of yoga from home, and I will admit that I did it this week with my pajama pants on. They were
Yes.
black, and I bet Mel didn't notice, and it didn't matter. It's very
Well, okay. I Zoomed one class from the bed, remember? It's very casual.
yes, yes,
You just need your
absolutely.
pillow. You don't even need
Yes.
a yoga mat, carpet, bed, pillow, and a blanket. That's all you need. And all bodies. You don't need to be a pretzel, a yogini, or a special superstar. It's
Exactly.
accessible for anyone. Yeah.
Now,
Mm.
I used to do yoga years ago, and I used to think, oh, it was so good because I was supple and I could do the poses like, a lot easier than I'm managing them now. But it doesn't matter and I just love your gentle, nurturing style, which means that anybody can jump in and feel that they belong, and you're always encouraging people to take that stretch to where you're at right
Mm.
now. And it's not
Mm.
about being this, vibrant, lively, healthy gym junkie or whatever. It's about
No.
accepting where you're at and moving
Mm-hmm.
forward with that. And over time, I hope to get more and more subtle as time goes on. Supple, not subtle.
Yes, supple.
Maybe, yeah, you need to be subtle sometimes
Maybe
as
your
well.
subtle body is expanding
Yes.
as well.
Absolutely. Oh, you're on the ball there. That's fantastic. So,
Mm,
okay, now you're about to
mm.
venture on a bit more of a journey, Mel. Let's go. We know that you're here in Burnie at the moment. Where are we off to now? Or are you ready
Mm.
to share that part of your journey? Is it official enough
Yes,
for
yes.
you to share?
It's official enough. I'm an open book. People follow me and they're with me through the ups and the downs.
Yes.
So the up at the moment is that the whole family is going to jump on the Spirit of Tasmania, which is a ship that leaves this island, and embark with our camping trailer on a trip up the Red Centre and land in East Arnhem Land. So I've accepted some work up there where I'll be offering counselling, mental health social work, and yoga and mindfulness to the community there, with some project work, hopefully, with the local First Nations people. So I'm very excited. Yeah, it's kind of a dream of mine to work in the Northern Territory in those communities, and I'd love my children to experience that part of Australia because they were brought up in, Dubai, big flash, fancy,
Mm.
5-star lifestyle. Mm.
And
Now
how'd
they
they
get to be with crocodiles and
Oh,
buffaloes.
yeah. I think it's fantastic. Have you got a Crocodile Dundee hat already to take?
I'm planning to get one. Yeah, I think we all need a Kubras. It's part of my fantasy.
Oh, absolutely. It's got me going because I have actually been to Uluru, quite a few years ago, and I travel with 4 children, in a Land Rover, and we drove up
Mm.
there, and it was fantastic. And what we did was we slept outside, on the ground, and we put a tarp down and covered ourselves and endured. It was in winter, so we did endure some of those frosty
Mm.
mornings. But to wake up and just open your eyes and look out and see the sunsets was just absolutely glorious. It was
Mm.
an amazing trip. And I've had a yearning to get back to the Red Centre at some point. I've also got a cousin in Darwin, and I'd love to go and visit him. So I'm envisioning that I just may, head your way, and once you're settled in, and the other thing is, you're going to be experiencing that sense of community, that rich community that a lot of our people who live on the land and have done for generations and generations and generations.
Mm.
This is going to be an amazing learning curve for you.
And the children. I'm
Yes.
really looking forward to unplugging a little bit.
Hmm.
Like many families, we've become super plugged in
Yes.
for hours and hours a day. And so I'm looking forward to that reconnection with the earth, being out there, absorbing a bit more sun than perhaps there is in Tassie at the moment. Just being aware of the different seasons and connecting with different people with different values, different ideas, a chance for the children to really be aware of what's outside their screens.
I love that. And the other
Yeah.
thing, do you call what you do unschooling, or do you call it homeschooling? You've got 3 boys and they don't go to
Mm,
traditional schools. How do you
yeah.
name yours up?
Yeah. I call it unschooling. So when they were 4 and 7, and I had a newborn, I was actually teaching in a kindergarten in a school in the Middle East, and it wasn't working. We're all having meltdowns every day. Me as a teacher, the children totally stressed, and they had sensory processing issues and difficulties learning. So I pulled us all out, unplugged from school, walked away with my yoga mat and my children, and joined the vibrant, amazing homeschooling community and the global support. There's so much support out there. So I think best way to describe unschooling is you follow the child's passions. There's no structure except what are they interested in today, or what are they interested in this month. And you might strew a little bit of information when they're little, because you want to provide a rich environment so they can choose what they're interested in. But as they get older, they really direct that learning themselves. So I have two that have joined Air Cadets for the last 2 years. That's really developed their interest in flying and the science behind all of that. And another one that just loves to play, might end up in the circus. I don't know.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. My background is in teaching, and I have to admit that I'm very frustrated with schools and the restrictions that the one room for well over 25 children and one teacher, maybe some aides, or the children get taken out for special times. And I do have value for some of it, but for a lot of it's like so constricting. And, there's so many children these days with sensory processing disorders or who are very challenged within the school system. And
or very bored because they're just so smart
yes,
that they have to stick with a certain curriculum. Like, I remember my son was not allowed to get out more than one library book a week.
oh,
I'm like,
gosh.
how crazy is that?
Yes, very crazy. Yes. Actually, I went to my daughter-in-law's the other day, and she had went to visit and the grandchildren, and she's in Queensland. I've just recently been there, and she bought out a great big, it was like a laundry basket full of books. And she said, I said, oh, you like reading? And she said, because I'm having conversations with the children, and she had this great big basket full of books, and I was just so impressed. And the eldest one was, I said, oh, well, what books do you like reading? And he said, well, I like researching early history that's not so popular. I like early Sumerians, and it was just amazing. And we had a conversation with cities that are under the ground, and all sorts of things came out of his mouth. And I thought, here in Australia, we have a set curriculum, and teachers are now dictated to about what has to go in the curriculum. And I can understand, yes, okay, there's some basic things we might need to cover, but it doesn't leave a lot of room for that rich explorative learning, or it's all directed from the teachers, unless you've got a very creative teacher who knows how to open those doors so children can channel their inner brilliance. I also worked with a kindergarten teacher several years ago, and she's actually a book writer. She's a children's author, and she had 3 children, and her third child, she decided she wasn't going to push that third child in any direction in particular. That child was allowed to, was supported to make up her own decisions and head in whatever direction she wanted to go. I don't know, didn't follow her journey, but I thought that was amazing. And she would get a tarp in the kindergarten little house where the children played, and one day she put a tarp in there and filled it with water, and there were ducks living in there. And I thought that was absolutely fantastic, for her to be so creative.
That was my kindergarten classroom. I always had baby birds we were feeding, or we were watching, sea monkeys develop, or we were growing plants. And when I left school, my classroom was like, nature meets fairyland.
Yes,
with lots of glitter. Yeah. And then when I moved to unschooling, my house became like a center. I used to run a backyard nature gathering, and all the other homeschooling families would come, and we lived on a date plantation, actually, out of the city in a little town called Al Ain in Abu Dhabi. For 8 years we're on that farm, and we had geese and chickens and tortoises. The children learnt to count by collecting eggs. Different eggs were worth different values. If they found a goose egg, that was worth a lot. but a chicken egg less. So yeah, that type of natural learning, and children are really designed to develop by using those gross motor skills and running around and interacting with nature, not kind of sitting, especially when they're young, for so long behind a desk.
Well, these days it's not only behind a desk, but it's also in front of a computer. So these days, where do I find the answer to this? I'll just go and Google it, is the response. So it's
Yep.
not, providing that rich ability to explore and do their own investigations and things like that. It's all so much on screens, and that learning is limited. I think it has opened up an amazing world of knowledge, but as well as opening up in a world of knowledge, it's also encouraged us to be really dependent on that kind of knowledge
Yeah.
as well.
It's all about balance, isn't it, Kate?
Yes.
And I feel we've become a bit out of balance as my boys are teenagers. So I'm seeking to create more balance by, taking us to a different geographical location and providing new opportunities. But people can seek that balance in their own environment, wherever you are. Just, a simple thing like going out and breathing with a tree. Have you ever done that?
Yes, I have.
It's like so simple. You look a bit crazy,
Yes.
especially if you've got your forehead planted against a tree.
Oh,
You don't want to
okay.
look
Yes.
quite as crazy. You can stand with your back against a tree and then
Yes.
just tuning in with your breath, imagining your feet are like the roots of the tree, and then breathing up and imagining that your mind is expanding up where the branches are. It's intriguing. It's so powerful and grounding.
Very connecting. Even for
Yeah.
me, I like just that simple daily go outside and put my feet on the ground, so that we've got bare feet on the ground, and we now know that we're getting that beautiful energy from the earth, and how that helps us to debrief, unwind, and get real about who we are and what we are. I think it's that connection where, we know more and more now how we are actually all very integral. We don't survive in an isolated situation. We are all connected in some way, in people, in our Mother Earth, and in the universe and beyond. So we are infinite beings in so many ways.
Yes, and we are nature,
Yes.
We've got these beautiful earth bodies.
Yes.
And it's important to connect with them. Yeah, I think a lot of the time we're just a big head walking around, We spend so much time in our brains, we forget about what's below.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of my practices is to breathe into your belly and start from there, and connect your
Mm.
belly and your heart and your head, and have all that those three areas in alignment. And when we do that, and particularly as women, we're very good at being, I can speak for myself, our chatter in our head dominates
Yes,
our day. So the more we can
totally.
detach from that, the better. Because then
They call it the monkey mind.
yes, that's it. We've got to stop the monkey mind. Now let's move the conversation to our other common interest, Mel, which will be our beautiful love of using essential oils. Now, you and I both love Young Living oils because we know that the vibration is pure. It's a clear oil. They're uplifting. Let me ask you, what do you do with your oils? Because I know that you and I have discussed having a class with yoga. So, and what what's your journey with oils, or your journey with using the oils? Yeah.
Mm. Oh, I love oils. I first discovered them. I think I was attracted to oils from the moment I found my first kind of hippie shop. And then I found my way to Young Living while I was over in the Middle East, and just needed them. I really felt I needed them when I discovered them. Peppermint oil is my favorite whenever we have fuzzy heads or feel sick or traveling in the car. The kids know that I'm always going to offer them peppermint oil. I've always got it in the bag. I also fell in love with lavender to keep myself calm, and teaching baby massage when the babies were a bit older, because you don't put any oil on the skin when they're little. But the mothers would often just have lavender for themselves to breathe in to help them calm down their nervous system. And also later on, I used lavender a lot to massage my children to help them sleep. And do you say capaba over here or capaba? How do you say it?
There's lots of ways we say it.
Well, I say capaba, but
Yeah, there's a sort of a capaiba, so it's got a bit of
yes,
an E in it, from
capaiba.
my understanding. But yes,
Yeah,
COPAIBA is the name of
yeah.
that one.
So I discovered this oil is great for. I had one child that was quite hyperactive,
Mm,
so I needed it for me and for him because
yes.
it really does have an amazing, almost like a natural sedative relaxation effect. So I would place a drop on my thumb and press it to the roof of my mouth daily to survive. And that's one of my favorites if I can't sleep. Um,
Yes.
if I'm needing just to
Yes.
connect back to myself, I
Mhm.
use that. So as I discovered my own love for oils, I started to introduce them into my yoga classes. So if you've been to any of my classes, you know I begin by handing out an oil and a little white cotton pad or tissue for you to inhale. And I match the oils to the theme of the class or to a certain chakra, the frequency of the oil, matching it to the frequency of the energy center we're working with. Or if the class is going to be more of an energetic, uplifting class, I might provide oils that give you more energy. And if it's Shavasana at the end of the class, I might pass around frankincense. And I play the Tibetan singing bowls as well. So frankincense and sound healing are like a match made in heaven.
Mm. Oh, I love that. Beautiful. It's
Mm,
all in the frequency of things. And
mm.
yes, and we could talk oils till the cows come home.
Yes,
Couldn't
yes,
so uh,
yeah.
so Mel has decided to create an online class called, Mel, do you want
It's
to?
called Yin Aroma Yoga. YAY. Yay! Bring more yay into your
Yeah.
life.
So we
Mm,
will be posting some links when we've got them all organised, because this was yesterday's little dream. So on the 6th
mm,
of December on 2022 at Australian AED time, you can join Mel and I, and we will be talking about essential oils, and we will be doing some practices, some yin
yes.
practices.
Mm,
So
mm,
you can join us. We'd love you to join us. And I can tell you that you are going to really enjoy this lushness. Now, if you are panicking about Christmas and who you've got to buy this for and that for, and what things you've got in your pantry and all those things, all those lists that drive us crazy during this festive season, if you would like to remain cool, calm and collected, you would be more than welcome to join our class and bring your oils along. And if you do not have your own oils, reach out to myself or to Mel, and we will help you get connected with these beautiful oils, because we part of our enthusiasm, our passion, and what we know in the depths of our soul and our truth is that we love Young Living oils because
mm,
of their vibration. So
mm.
we
Yeah.
we encourage everybody to come and have a chat with us around that, so that you can get a sense of what that's all about, because our oils are grown organically and sustainably on farms all around the world. In fact, Young
Mm.
Living is the biggest essential oil company in all the world. Did you realize that, Mel?
Well, I thought it must be. It's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. And you have to share that story you shared with me yesterday about the lavender sheep, because I just think that's beautiful.
The lavender. Okay, so the lavender,
Mm,
we I
mm,
actually, in my order this month, I got a bonus of a Young Living Monopoly game, and
mm,
on the front cover, I haven't got it here at the moment, but on the front cover of the Monopoly is a beautiful photo of the lavender on one of our farms. Now, the lavender for Young Living is grown by seed, and it's called population lavender. And I do know a little bit about it because I've met the manager from France, Nicholas Landel, who was actually taught by his father and who knew Gary Young very well, who's our beautiful essential oil Young Living creator, dreamer, creator, enthusiast. And so most essential oil companies will only grow from cuttings, and they won't necessarily grow without pesticides and chemicals. But we know with Young Living, we don't have a bar of any of that, because we know that that will change the frequency, the quality, and the effects of the oils. So Young Living, as usual, does lots of experimentation, because if you don't want to go down the track of buying commercial fertilizers, etc., well, you've got to come up with another plan. So the other plan is, in this case, is that they put sheep down the rows of the lavender on their farm, because the sheep will eat the weeds, and yet it won't eat the lavender. So that way you get the manure from the sheep. And we know that plants love manure. That enriches the soil. And when you enrich the soil, it's like anything, you get better plants, and you will get better constituents and compounds in your essential oil, which is the very big, it's the deciding factor with Young Living, because we know that we are looking for the highest quality that you can possibly get. So Young Living makes sure that that's what we produce. So the plants in the photo they're not all the same deep, rich purple. They're all different colors. So you can tell population lavender, because each plant is not like I don't know whether I'm using the right word, but each plant isn't like a clone of the other one before it. So our lavender is actually very, very different from lavender all around the world. And we know it's called the Swiss Army knife of oils. So if you haven't got anything else, lavender you can use it for almost anything. You just grab it, you roll it on, you diffuse it, you can make blends with it. And I wouldn't go anywhere without my lavender oil, because
no, that's right.
That's
it's second
key.
to peppermint in my kit.
Yes, fantastic. Yeah, well, that's right. Well, if you're like me, there's a few oils you won't go without, but if I had to pick one, lavender could well suffice for that.
Yes, and great if you get sunburn, isn't it? Mixing it in with a carrier oil and just putting that on, or any burns. That's what I use it for.
Yes.
But the other part of that story, which I love, is the sheep would smell like lavender.
Oh, yeah. That's right. The comments that we were talking about it last night were, the sheep would smell like lavender. So, yes, you would get the lavender wool straight off the back of the sheep. Absolutely. Gary Young loves his animals, and he gives oils to animals. He has the most amazing horses, and he uses the supplements, and they're all competition. They win. They're beautiful horses. They actually, when he first started with Young Living, he used the horses, and he probably still does on some farms. He used the horses to till the land. Because he loves the old ways as well as the new ways. And then as time went on, he realized that he had to get real and then he started designing implements for cutting plants and making sure that that the harvesting was done without damaging the plants, and all that complicated, intricate ways of making sure you can look after all the distributors all around the world, because we are a worldwide company. And we have farms all around the world, and Gary invested, profits back into farms, because he could see that the demand for essential oils was going to grow and is growing. And in the years to come, we all know that those old ways of medicine need to be relooked at and valued. And many of us are already on that path, and that's what I love about my Young Living journey, because it allows me to share my knowledge with others and help make a difference.
Yes. You know, okay, my family, we haven't been to a doctor, okay, touch wood, for
Yes.
like since the kids were about 4 or 5. So that's at least 12 years. We just
Yes.
use oils. We really do use the oils for common things that we might come across, you know, colds and flus and bites and stings and tummy aches. And our immune system is really healthy. So I think, you know, when you say walk the walk, talk the talk, I love just sharing my own
Mm.
experience and
Yes.
how the oils have just become a part of our life. And plant medicine is so
Absolutely.
incredibly healing. Mm,
Absolutely. And we have
mm.
so much to offer with Young Living. We could be here for another hour because you can get soaps and face creams. And so if you are looking for a
Mm.
natural lifestyle, if you are looking to go low tox, if you are looking to move away from some of those ways that you may be feeling are not suited to you, once again, you can reach out to myself or Mel, and we'd love to introduce you to our beautiful Young Living lifestyle. I
Mm.
was recently talking to a lady because I've just come back from a Young Living event on the Gold Coast here in Australia. And I was sitting next to a young mum, and she said, "You know what? People say to me, oh my gosh, they're so expensive to buy." And she said she's a mum with 2 or 3 children. And
Yeah.
she said, "But the amount of money I've saved
Mm.
is is worth it. They're actually, yes, you might have to invest in the initially and keep investing, but she doesn't have to go to doctors so much and use
Yes.
other things that may have too
Mm.
many side effects and things like
Yes.
that." So when you start your Young Living lifestyle, you know, a lot of the young mums love making their own creams and
Mm.
sprays and lotions for the children or
Mhm.
cells or whatever. And it's actually very empowering for us to be able to take charge of looking after our family in such a beautiful way.
Yeah, how it used to be, you know. We used
Yeah.
to have all this knowledge and wisdom. We used to go out and gather the plants and make our own medicines. And that was kind of taken from us.
Mhm.
You know, the
Yeah.
system kind of became
But
very
yes.
uh, you know, patriarchal,
Yes.
and we lost that control. But it's coming back into the homes, and yeah, many women. I mean, men, of course, are involved as well. But I see many women now reclaiming their intuitive knowledge of
Yes.
how plant medicine is all that's necessary. Unless, of course, you know, I'm married to a paramedic, so there's a place for medicine. You chop off your
Absolutely.
arm, you're not going to add lavender oil. You need the ambulance, you need a surgeon. But,
Well,
you
let
know,
me tell you, I would add
well,
lavender oil first before I called the
oh,
ambulance.
yeah. Well, you
And
need both.
yes, and there's some amazing stories around those kind of experiences. If I cut myself,
Mm,
what do? Just oil straight away, and I've had some incredible experiences.
mm, yeah, yep.
So, well, Mel, it's just been so delicious talking with you. I love your beautiful
Mm,
way, and I love you sharing your journey. So, thank you very much for being here. And we do look forward to connecting with anyone who's listening to this conversation. Thank you for joining us, and look out for my next conversation next week. And I haven't quite worked out yet who that's going to be with, because at the moment I'm very spontaneous. But I am hoping
mm,
to get my friend on board very soon, who will be sharing her journey into crystals and gems and how she uses essential oils with those. So that should be, if it's not next week, she has given me a yes, but I haven't pinned her down to a date yet. So thanks very much. Is there anything you would like to part our audience with today, Mel?
I would say just accept where you are. It's a perfect place to be on your journey and go from there. Yeah. Mm,
Absolutely. The present moment.
mm,
That's when I
mm,
love our present time blend, to keep us in the moment, not be stressing about the past or worrying about the
mm,
future,
mm.
but appreciating the moment with gratitude. So thank you
Yes.
very much for joining us, and thanks heaps, Mel. I look forward to maybe even some more of these conversations in the future, but definitely
Mm.
I will be there at your Yin. I have to get this right. Yin Aroma Yoga class.
That's
Yay!
it. Yay, that's it. The 6th of December. What
And it
time
will
did
be
we say?
recorded. Will it?
It'll be recorded, yes. So people
7:30
can
Australian.
still
It will be
7.
recorded, so if you can't make that time, no worries.
Mm.
Mel has got you covered so that you can
Mm.
do that revitalize, refresh, reset, and rejuvenate from your very own home.
Mm.
So from my heart to
Exactly.
your heart, everybody, thank you
Yes.
very much.
Thank you.